Imagine, my brothers in Islam, the most expensive and the best blessing that you possess. Imagine your most cherished gift. How would you treat this blessing and this gift? Obviously, every one of us would treat such a gift with tenderness, with care, with love. Our Prophet ﷺ said, there is nothing that a believer benefits from more after the taqwa of Allah than a righteous spouse. Reported by Ibn Majah. How foolish then and harmful it is if a man amongst us abuses and harms that precious blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with, and that it does not and cannot tolerate domestic violence and abuse against our spouses and families. Brothers and sisters, no matter what interpretation of Sharia you follow, you will never find a single scholar in the history of this ummah that has justified beating a woman because of some petty issue. This is completely unjustifiable, and that is why I say unequivocally, spare me your false piety. It is not from iman and taqwa that you are beating your wife. This is who you are, and then you want to justify it from the Quran and Sunnah. We're not going to buy this from you. The Quran and Sunnah does not allow this type of abuse. Oh men, realize that these women that you are misusing and abusing, these women that you are transgressing on, they are the daughters to other men. They are sisters of other men. They are mothers of your own children. Would you want your own daughter to be treated the way that some of you treat your own wives? As you do unto others, it shall be done unto you. And subhanAllah, what is really sad, brothers and sisters, is that all too often these people who abuse their wives, they are the essence of hypocrites who have two faces. Many times when it comes to the masjid and the community, mashallah, they are sweet as honey. MashaAllah, they are the most generous and the most kind. But their friends and their extended family and their immediate family knows all too well what happens behind closed doors. The people that should love him the most and respect him the most, fear him the most and despise him the most. That is why our Prophet ﷺ said, the best man amongst you is the one who is the best to his women and children. If your wife can respect you, then wallahi you are worthy of being respected. If your wife, who knows your inner secrets and she knows exactly how you are, if she can vouch that this is an honest man, that is what you call a true gentleman. But when your wife and your children know you to be a fraud, then you are a fraud, even if society puts you on a pedestal that is false. On the farewell khutbah of the Prophet ﷺ, the most important khutbah of his life, addressed to the largest gathering of 100,000 people, on the plain that is the holiest plain, and on the day that is the holiest day, and he barely has 5 paragraphs, he dedicates an entire paragraph to women. And he tells the men, fear Allah when it comes to women. Fear Allah when it comes to women. Oh man, you will have to stand in front of Allah on Judgment Day. You think you have power over women? Allah has infinitely more power over you. And you will have to stand in front of Allah, and Allah will ask you how you dealt with your wife, how you dealt with your children.
And I want you to just think about this. What kind of a society is it where women and children are not protected from violence and abuse? What kind of society is that? What does that say about that particular type of society? It says that society is completely a debased society, completely uncivilized, if those who are vulnerable, who need protection, cannot be protected in that society. The excellence of a society and a community is judged by how it protects those people who are the weakest in that society, and not the ones who are the most privileged.
First advice to the victim. First and foremost, realize, oh sister in Islam, or brother if you are the one in abuse, that Allah Azza wa Jal is Al-Qawi, and that the one who is strong in the eyes of Allah is the one who is weak in the eyes of men. The weaker and the more oppressed you are, the stronger you are in the eyes of Allah. The dua of the mazloom, of the one upon whom dhulm has been done, is the strongest dua. So do not feel weak. Wallahi, there is no one more powerful than the one upon whom dhulm has been done. Do not blame yourself. One of the most common symptoms of spousal abuse is you start blaming yourself. Maybe I deserve this. No. No, by Allah, no one deserves to be beaten. No one deserves to be whipped and hit in this manner. No one. Stop blaming yourself. Number 3, if it is safe, and you only know if it is safe or not, then confront your spouse directly. Explain to them that this is not something that you will tolerate. Remind them of Allah Azza wa Jal and the Prophet ﷺ if it is safe to do so. If it goes beyond this, or if the situation is not safe, then you need to reach out to people whom you trust. Extended family, extended friends. You need to reach out for help. And if the situation crosses the red line, if you are genuinely fearful of your life, of your physical safety, or the safety of your children, then wallahi, I tell you as a religious scholar, it is wajib to call some type of help, even if it is 911. Your life is more important than any supposed honor or supposed shame that you think you will bring to your family. Nothing is more sacred than your life when it comes to these type of scenarios. And understand as well, that if you have such a person in your life and it is constant abuse and there is no change, whether it's emotional, whether it is physical, constant abuse, then think about ending this marriage. Think about divorce. And my advice to those who are committing the abuse, remember what Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran. Do not hold on to your wives only to cause them more harm. Whoever does this, you aren't doing dhulm to your wife, you're doing dhulm to yourself. If the marriage is so bad, and if it is so negative, then part ways so that there's a breath of fresh air for both of you. And brothers and sisters, if we are going to turn a blind eye and we're going to ignore it, it is as if we are complicit in that abuse.